And joining us now in an exclusive interview, Donald Trump's former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski. Corey, good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sean.
You know, maybe I'm old-fashioned, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, but, you know, when you ask people to do something for you and they do it, saying thank you is not a bad thing to do, and it seems to be going over very well. The crowds are huge, and he's planning on doing a number of other of these rallies.
Look, I think this is so smart, not just going out and seeing the people and reminding them that the power is not in Washington but is out in the States, but saying thank you for the support that they gave Donald Trump in this election. What he said was, we're going to unite everybody. But this speech tonight is really powerful, talking about the military, reminding them that they'll have the tools necessary to continue to be the best fighting force this country and this world has ever seen. And with General Mattis there tonight, I think this is a home run.
Yeah, agree. And by the way, great choice. We're going to talk to Colonel North later in the program about Mad Dog Mattis. I know the military is very happy with that. The thing that I like about the speech is he's reinforcing the promises that he made on the campaign trail. In other words, originalist justices, 15% corporate rate, repatriation, building the wall, repealing, replacing Obamacare, education back to the states, energy independence. To me, if he does those things, he will be a successful president because people, I think, want him to follow through. Didn't we see that earlier today with the announcement, you know, this deal that was made, $50 billion investment, 50,000 jobs with this the SoftBank deal that he made and announced at Trump Tower today.
Well, we saw that, plus we saw just last week 1,100 jobs saved in Indiana. Those are hardworking Americans who are going to be able to keep their jobs here and have a great Christmas, where it's okay to say Merry Christmas again. Look, Donald Trump in the first 4 weeks of his presidency has done more to help this country than I think Barack Obama has done the last 4 years. Now, I know that's a strong statement, but what we see is a commitment to our military, again, a commitment to our businesses to reduce the amount of government regulations so that they can continue to grow and grow our economy. Not at 1%, not at 2%, but at 4%, 5%. Lower the corporate tax rate so that our country can be competitive in a global marketplace. That's what we have. Look, his presidency is summed up in 2 words, America first. I love it.
Yeah, you know, look, if these 2 deals that he made before becoming president begin to define a pattern, then Americans will get back to work, out of poverty, off of food stamps. They'll be able to purchase that home, lowest home ownership rate in 51 years. All right, you were up in Harvard, and you were part of a debate team. I know that Dave Bossie was there, Kellyanne was there, I think Paul Manafort was there, you were there, going up against Jennifer Palmieri and people like Robbie Mook, and it got really pretty nasty on the side of the left. Let me play a part of it with Kellyanne, and I want to get your perspective on this.
I would rather lose than win the way you guys did.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes. No, you wouldn't.
Absolutely. Yes.
No, that's very clear today. No, you wouldn't, respectfully.
Absolutely.
Do you think I ran a campaign where white supremacists had a platform? Are you going to look me in the face and tell me that?
It did. Kellyanne
really?
did.
And that's how you lost?
It did.
Do you think you could have just had a decent message for the white working class voters? Do you think this woman who has nothing in common with
I'm not
anybody...
saying that's why you won, but that's the kind of campaign that was run.
We flipped it over 200. How about it's Hillary Clinton? She doesn't connect with people. How about they have nothing in common with her?
My question, you were there. Was it really that bad? Are they really that far, I guess, out of touch with reality that they still don't understand what happened?
Well, I think, look, I was there, and the Clinton campaign has not come to the realization that they had a fatally flawed candidate that never connected with the American people. Donald Trump won over 200 counties, which Barack Obama won 4 years ago. That is not for any other reason other than the fact that people want a better country. They connect with Donald Trump. He understands the problems of the working class. He's fixing those problems already, as we see by bringing jobs, keeping jobs here in America. The Clinton campaign ran a fundamentally flawed campaign. They had a fundamentally flawed candidate, and they refused to take any blame for the way that the campaign turned out. They blame everybody except themselves for it.
Yeah. One of the things Donald Trump talked about today was $4 billion being spent on Air Force One, a contract with Boeing. I want to be very clear here. I think the President of the United States, regardless of who it happens to be, needs the best, the safest aircraft in the day and age of radical Islam and ISIS and Al-Qaeda and fear of surface-to-air missiles. It's a scary time. So Air Force One will need defenses that no other plane needs. It's the right thing to do. But $4 billion, here's what Donald Trump said earlier.
Well, the plane is totally out of control. going to be over $4 billion. It's for Air Force One program. And I think it's ridiculous. I think Boeing is doing a little bit of a number. We want Boeing to make a lot of money, but not that much money. Okay, thank you.
USA Today said $3.2 billion, but somewhere in that range, which is astronomical. I can't fathom any plane or two planes costing that amount of money. Your thoughts?
Well, here's what it is. Look, Donald Trump is a businessman who understands how to control costs to be successful. And taking over the role as the CEO of the United States, it's a $4 trillion budget, and he's looking at $4 billion and saying, is this the best we can do? Let's shave the cost. Let's use our taxpayer dollars wisely. I love this. If he's looking at a $4 billion investment as the grand total of what the federal government spends, that means all of those projects are going to be available for review, and we're going to save money. We're going to return that money to the taxpayers. We're going to stop the burden on the federal bureaucracy onto these small businesses, and we'll grow our economy so we can compete in the global marketplace. Why are we spending $4 billion if the plane really should be a $2 billion plane? I agree with Donald Trump.
Yeah, look, you got to watch out for the taxpayers' money, especially when we have $20 trillion in debt and nearly $200 trillion or $125 trillion in unfunded liabilities. Let me ask you this question. There's an article today. It quoted Congressman Flores of Texas, and the article talked at length about how some Republicans, and we know a lot of them were not on board with Donald Trump. I would even say Speaker Ryan, he even admits he didn't see what was happening in the country, not even in his own home state. But the gist of the article was, oh, let's just pass those things that we agree with Donald Trump about, like cutting taxes, reforming the tax code, the easy things, and then the things we disagree on we'll deal with later. Why do I feel that they're never going to want to do the things later, and they're only going to want to pass the things they want to pass? It's sort of like you always get the tax increase and you never get the spending cuts. You always get the amnesty, you never get the wall. Is this an indication of President-elect Trump that he better pay very close attention to what these Republicans are doing? Because if he wants immigration reform and tough immigration laws and tough vetting of refugees, he better get it up front, because otherwise he gives away his leverage?
Well, I think so. Look, I think the first 100 days of this administration are going to be critical to make sure that his agenda is being accomplished and being put forth. And he is going to Washington, D.C. with a mandate. And I think the Republicans have to recognize that. He won more electoral votes than any president
don't give up
since
your
Ronald
leverage.
Reagan's re-election.
You don't trust the Republicans any more than I do.
Look, I don't, and what I know is that Donald Trump is a businessman, and he knows how to accomplish deals. He knows how to make sure that people both walk away from the table happy. But he's also made a promise to the American people. And that promise is to build a wall on the southern border and to protect U.S. citizens. And the number one job of a president of the United States is to make sure that your citizens, both here and abroad, are safe. That is what he's going to do. And no congressman, no member of the United States Senate is going to stop him from doing that.
By the way, isn't it better to be on a network where it's not 10-on-1?
Well, look, I'll tell you, I've got a lot of friends at the other side, but it's nice to be here when we both agree that Donald Trump is the right candidate for President of the United States.
All right, Corey Lewandowski, stay right there. We'll be right back with him right after the break.